In a glider, you really have to be thinking the whole time. You don't have the opportunity to go around. If you set yourself up for a bad landing, you're going to have a bad landing.
Mental agility is of special interest to Regents Professor Carol Barnes. Her research examines the decline of spatial learning and memory in the aging brain, and more specifically, the normally aging brain.
People often ask me, you're not studying Alzheimer's disease, you're studying normal aging? I don't believe that you can understand Alzheimer's disease until you know what the normal developmental process is. The brain, I don't want you to go away and think
that age-related effects on memory with normal aging are distinct from the changes brought on by diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Membrane protein.
Focus for her research came with a call from her mother.
And she said, you know, you're in graduate school in psychology. You know, your grandfather is starting to wander off on his long walks and become a bit confused and lost. Can you figure out what might be going on?
Carol found little.
And I thought, wow, that's amazing that we don't know more about how learning and memory changes with age. So just that simple question to me from my mother was the impetus for me to put together the idea that I would really like to understand spatial learning and memory in animals. Something good on your hand?
Instrumental to Carol's research is the ARL's Division of Neural Systems, Memory and Aging, a large multidisciplinary group she helped bring together. Their contributions include technologies and methods used to examine molecular pathways, genetic expression, and brain circuitry.
Just now are we able to record from, hundreds of cells at once in a freely behaving animal and identify what those cells together are saying about the behavior.
Early on, Carol had ideas about learning.
I made a little bit of side money holding preschools and play schools and so forth.
But an interest in biology and animal behavior led her to psychology.
Late 1980s, early 1990s, the domain of cognitive neuroscience was just beginning to take shape. So bringing together sort of work on cognition with work on brain function. And she was one of at the top, I would say, in the top rank of this cohort of young people approaching those issues from the perspective of the brain.
As a pioneer and advocate for the study and teaching of aging, Carol has attracted many students.
The best part of my course, the gerontology course, is that I always change the direction of somebody in that class. I'm going to change the direction of their career.
It's a very unique situation here. Just what Carol does and how interdisciplinary, just what Carol's doing in the lab, I think gives you access to a lot of things you wouldn't have access to if you were working with someone else.
Carol says detecting early changes in the brain will have implications for both diseased and healthy individuals.
That's where I think we are now, is understanding more about what can be optimized in the nervous system to help people be able to function well into very, very late stages as they age normally. For those of you who don't know
Carol
me,
herself
Carol Barnes,
functions well on many levels.
She's a great mentor of students. She's a great role model for women. And she's been very active nationally and internationally in science. So she's brought enormous skill, both demonstrating in her own career and also explaining to the public exactly why this kind of research is so important.
Apart from the research, there is that glider thing, a hobby she shares with husband and fellow neuroscientist Bruce McNaughton.
You can't be anything but there when you're flying. It's such a good change of, busts apart all the rusty circuits in your brain and allows you to come back to the lab refreshed.